Hello guys, we are from the channel Another Curiosity and stay now with the top 10 poorest countries in the world. 10. Madagascar. Opening the unfortunate list of the poorest nations, Madagascar is located on the coast of East Africa, being the second country in the world made up of islands from 1987 until 1960. The island was ruled by the French colonial empire when it gained its independence. In 1992, a constitutional democracy was established, but there was a political crisis in 2009 through a coup d'etat, but being democratically restored in 2014. 9. Chad. The Republic of Chad is located in the center of the African continent and is therefore a landlocked country. 80% of population lives below poverty line, with half of the population being illiterate. In 1960, Chad gained independence from France, but since then civil war has been constantly between the Arab Muslims of the north and the Christian sub-Saharans of the south, with the last one ending in 2010. 8. Malawi. Malawi belongs to southeastern Africa, and the economy is based on agriculture, with its population being mostly rural. The country receives foreign aid to help its development, although this dependency is decreasing over time, while it receiving efforts from the government and support organizations to build and expand the economy and improve health, education, and environment protection. Malawi is struggling to cope with high unemployment and with an unbridled population. 7. Mozambique. Mozambique is located in the southeast of Africa, bordering 6 countries, including South Africa and Tanzania, in addition to being dated by the Indian Ocean, next to the Comoros. After gaining independence from Portugal in 1975, 2 years later a long civil war broke out that lasted until 1992. The consequences were the destruction of much of the country's infrastructure, such as schools, hospitals, roads, and highways, which has caused a mass displacement of the population, as well as deaths from famine and war that number around 1 million. 6. Niger. Niger is a part of West Africa and is the largest country in that region, bordering Libya, Nigeria, and 4 other countries. Most of its territorial area, about 80%, is located in the Sahara Desert. The non-desert regions of Niger suffer from drought and worsened land degradation, becoming increasingly arid, thereby losing their wildlife, bodies of water and vegetation. Because it does not have a coastline, this country suffered even more from the limitation of its development, aggravated by the desert terrain, growing population without control, inefficient agriculture, precarious infrastructure, and with 70% of its population illiterated. 5. Somalia. The Federal Republic of Somalia is part of the Horn of Africa, located in Southeast Africa. Agriculture is the country's most important economic sector, employing 65% of workers. The nation suffered through the 2 decades of civil war, starting in 1988, and 2 years later most of the infrastructure and economic and social assets was destroyed. However, the economy survived due to the informal sector. Likewise, the private sector advanced but stagnated due to the lack of investment, skilled labor, and regulation. 4. Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo is the second largest country in Africa and one of the most populous in the world. It borders 9 countries, having a small coastline on the Atlantic Ocean. From 1971 to 1997, it was called Zaire during the one-party system. When there was the First Congo War, culminating in the destitution of the dictatorship and returning to the original name. Then came the Second Congo War, which lasted from 1998 to 2003, with the involvement of 9 African countries. In this war, several armed groups, the country was devastated, resulting in the death of 5.5 million people. 3. Central African Republic. The Central African Republic borders Cameroon and 5 other countries, and most of the territory is covered by savannas. Several autocratic leaders have governed the country since the French independence in 1960. However, in 1993, there were the first democratic election of political parties, and 10 years later there was a coup d'etat led by a general. As a result, there was a little resistance from the government's military, who had their salaries months behind schedule. 2. South Sudan. South Sudan became independent from Sudan in 2011, after a referendum with nearly 99% of voters voting in favor. The country is located in Central East Africa, bordering 6 countries including Ethiopia and Kenya. It has no coastline but borders the White Nile River, and half of the population is 18 or younger. Since the end of 2003, this country has been going through a civil war, caused by ethnic issues due to the issue related to livestock, pastures, and drinking water. These conflicts between nomad tribes and the government and opposition forces have worsened the country's economic situation. 1. Burundi. Burundi is one of the smallest countries in Africa, located in the central and eastern part of the continent, bordering Tanzania, Congo, and Rwanda. After independence from Belgium in 1962, Burundi started as monarchy and then a one-party republic. The 1970s were marked by a civil war and genocides, which were also repeated in the 1990s. These greatly harmed the country's economy and development, and, as if there were not enough, a political conflict broke out in 2015, caused by the announcement of the president running for a third mandate. We are producing videos on Wednesdays and Fridays here on the channel. If you like it, don't forget to leave your like and activate the notification bell to stay on top of all news. I'm waiting for you in the next video.